everyone, and welcome back to the VoidCraft server. Ow, watch where you're flying. Now this episode is going to be all about the base and getting some major progress done on the base. As you can see, I've done a little bit off camera and completely finished the inside of the mountains, and oh no. Right, hang on, give me a second guys. Okay, they're all dealt with, and now of course I'm going to have to make sure that I don't go too close to my villager farm that is inside this part of the mountain, because if I do, that thing counts as a village and I'm going to have to deal with another raid again, and I'm tired of clearing this place out of villagers. As I was saying, I have completely finished the inside half of this mountain, and I will fly out now without going too close to that mountain, and we will have a look at what it looks like from a distance. And the answer to that question, I think, is that it looks pretty cool. Especially given that this is the first time I've actually ever done a terraforming project on this scale. I'm really happy with how it's coming along. Now that being said, there are obviously a lot of things still to do in it. You can see all the way around the outside there and around this side. There is a huge amount still to be done on that terraforming, so that is going to be an ongoing project. In this episode, we're going to focus actually more on the base itself rather than terraforming around it. So I'm thinking we're maybe going to get like a wall and a main gateway built up across this opening here. You can just see in the distance there the sugarcane farm that we built up a couple of episodes ago. We're going to get that all encased in a nice little kind of decorative build, so it doesn't just look like this machine sticking out the side of the mountain. It'll look like a proper build. And we are probably also going to go inside this mountain, and we're going to do a little bit more work on the forge and getting that all decorated up. But before we do any of those projects, I think we should do another diamond mining session, because we did one at the beginning of the last episode. We got a good number of diamonds, and then over the course of that episode, we proceeded to spend almost all of them buying andesite off of Z-Man and Roth, and also getting the tree Kevin off of Mr. Magic Blocks. So I'm going to dive down here now, and we're going to start off this mining session. Alright, 57 diamonds. That is not too shabby at all. Now we can crack on with some projects. So we're back here at the base, and I thought we would start with the smallest of the projects that we have to do in this episode, which is doing a bit of a building around here, so it's not just this weird, completely open farm sticking out the side of the mountain, and it's actually got a proper design to it. Well, after a quick bit of testing in a creative world, this is what I've come up with, and it's looking pretty good, I think. It's not too bad at all, especially considering it's a small build, so it's never going to be the most detailed thing in the world. And now what I need to do is figure out some way of putting the roof on this thing and making it look that it's like as if it's going into the mountain rather than just stopping at the edge. A little bit more tinkering and we are done, and looking at it I think that is going into the mountain really nicely. And if we fly down here, you can see there I've also made an entrance for us to get into the thing, and when we go in here you'll see it's only a little small room in here. We just go down and we have our two chests, which actually I might need to extend this down a little bit and make another chest because that's getting pretty full, but either way we have those, and that is where all of the output from this farm goes into. One project down and we're going straight on to the next one, which is going to be building up the wall that goes across this opening here. And I think we're going to do this one in the form of a coffee fueled build session. Well, we're obviously not quite done with the inside here. Unfortunately, I just ran out of the nether brick and the blackstone that I was using for it. But check out the outside, because the outside is done. And guys, how cool does this look? Like, look at that. How cool does that look? I'm really, really happy with how that is looking and how this whole base in general is starting to come together. Oh, okay. Well, it seems Kevin has grown a little bit. I should probably explain, it's actually been a few days between clips here. I finished off the wall and then I was in the nether. You can see all the stuff in my inventory here. I was doing a bit more work on the hub and getting bases connected up. And now, like I said, it's been a few days. I've come back here to the base. And yeah, Kevin has grown. He's no longer in a pot. He's grown a little bit. Got any food? Yes, I do. I've pork chops and golden carrots. What would a tree eat? I feel like it's golden carrot. I feel like a tree would be a vegetarian, right? So let's give him. How many golden carrots does a tree need? Let's give him half, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's cool. We've got some progress with Kevin, and actually, I feel like maybe we should expand out his little area of grass. Like if he starts growing, he's going to need more grass than this. There we go. That should sort him for a good little while. Now, the last project I said I was going to work on in this episode was in here, doing some stuff in the forge. But on second thoughts, I think it might actually make a bit more sense to work on this area you first come into, this corridor that leads down to the forge first, before we do anything more on that. Now that we actually have a working super smelter down there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump in and start figuring out what I want to do with this corridor and how I want it to look. So with that in mind, I've come into a creative testing world here, and this thing here that I've built is a replica of that entryway in the VoidCraft server. So obviously here we have the gateway in the side of the mountain, and then that comes down here, and between these two pillars we go into the forge area. Now this area between that gateway and these two pillars is actually not all that big, which in a way I guess is a good thing, because I wouldn't want this overshadowing the main entrance. This is just going to be a side entrance, so obviously I want to have a much bigger, more grand entrance in another part of the mountain. But at the same time, I still want this to look good, and it does give me a bit of a limited space to work with. So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of way that I can really put the limited space I have to good use. Well, after a bit of tinkering, we have this, which is certainly a good start. I'm liking having these three different types of stone, and I think this is a cool shape to the base of the pillars. But there is still much work to be done. It's by no means finished. These walls in between, I think, are still looking very flat and blank. So we're going to need to add more depth and detail to them. Possibly the same story with the black stone as well. And of course, we need to put a roof on it. Oh my goodness, that looks so much better. Like, all I've done is add in another brick wall there and changed out the blocks for stairs, and also a couple of blocks in the center of that for stairs. And that just looks so much better. Like, I was expecting it to look a bit better. It was going to be an improvement, but that looks so good. Well, that's it. That's my wall sorted. There is also one other cool little detail to this, which you won't have seen from back there, which is I've added a bit of lava down there so that when it's all covered up and dark, there'll be light coming up from below that, lighting up the bottom of this. Obviously, it won't be super dark in here anyway because of these lamps, but I think that's going to be quite a nice little detail having that lava down there. All right, and I think we have our ceiling design. So all I need to do now is gather up the resources I need and build it on the server. Progress is good here on the real version of this corridor on the server, and as you can see, I've changed the design of that ceiling a little bit, and I've actually decided to go with red nether brick instead of the dark oak that I was using before. Basically because I thought, hang on, dwarves don't really use wood. They kind of build out of stone and bricks, hence why I've decided to go with that red nether brick. And I really like the way it looks, but I've never really used red nether brick on survival before, and boy did I not realize how much of a pain this stuff is to gather up. So even just doing this little bit here, I've nearly run out. These 7 stairs are all I have left. It is also getting pretty late. At the time of recording this, it is now Saturday evening, and I really wanted to have this episode out tomorrow, so on Sunday, because it's been like 2 weeks since I released a VoidCraft episode, and well, my Discord are starting to make memes about it. So I think I'm actually going to probably leave this episode here, and I will finish all of this off camera, and I'll be able to showcase the completed corridor at the beginning of the next episode. It's only really building this same thing again anyway on the other side, so you're not going to really be missing all that much. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of VoidCraft and seeing the progress we made to the base. If you did, hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any future videos from me. Until next time, I've been Matt, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.